All right. Jim Rickards says, for the next 12 months or so, we will be living in a period of deflation. Now, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video to help get these videos out there and push this economic evangelism. So let's get right into it. What exactly is Jim Rickards saying? So here's a quote from him in this interview. In the short run, for the next year or so, our biggest problem is going to be deflation. The monetarists, the Austrian economists say, hey, you print all this money and you're gonna get deflation. That's not true. Printing money has nothing to do with inflation. Inflation is a psychological phenomenon. It has to do with the velocity of money. Can we get money into people's hands? Yes. But it doesn't mean they're gonna spend the money. If they're going if they're saving money or paying down debt, you're not getting velocity. That looks a lot like what we're walking into. Now, what exactly is he saying there? He's saying no matter how much money you have in the system, if no one is spending it, then you're not getting velocity and you're not getting an economy essentially. So here's one of the examples he gives. He says if you have $1 million and $1 million is never turned over, it's turned over 0 times, that means you have a velocity of 0. A million times 0 equals 0. So that basically means that if you're hoarding that money and never gets into the economy, then that economy has no velocity. It's going nowhere. And that's essentially what he says we will be living in for the next 12 months or so. Now, I tend to agree with this because think about what's happening right now. We've got some of the highest unemployment we've had, in years. We're close to about almost like a fifth of the U.S. workforce is essentially unemployed. I even saw somebody on Twitter saying that they applied for unemployment about a month ago, and they just now had their claim accepted after a month of applying. So, we have records amount of people, clogging up the system to get unemployment. So there's a lot happening right now, which basically says that people are probably not going to be out there spending. And even if they did have the money, what would they be spending it on? Well, it seems like on the supply side, things have also been cut off as well. And if things are cut off on the supply side, there essentially is no velocity. Now, yes, we can put money into people's hands, but as Jim says, if it isn't being spent in the market, then there's hardly any velocity going on. And in fact, over the past almost 2 decades now, velocity has been trending, or I should say, in the past 10 years, velocity has been trending downward. So this is only going to make it much, much worse. Now, when will things start to change? It will change when we hit an inflection point. And for me, I think that's going to happen once this deflation takes hold and it takes all of these prices down from this almost everything bubble. All of these assets are going to start coming down in price. And when things start coming down in price, more people will then put money into it. It will then get bid up again, over time, but things will start coming down in price. So you can then expect more velocity coming into the economy. Now, when will that happen? Well, for the most part, I don't think it'll happen, um, you know, that drastically. It may happen a little bit, um, because in my opinion, I see, most likely we're going to have a U-shaped recovery in the best case scenario, or in the worst case scenario, we're going to have a stagflation. So there's going to be, you know, almost a cost push inflation underneath this low growth that we're going to have. Now, I've explained this before in previous videos, but just to sum it up, by the end of this year, there's a call for almost about 110% debt to GDP ratio, and we've been over 90% for the last 10 years. And economists have called and said that once you hit over 90%, you're going to get low growth. So you have this low growth environment, and then you're going to have this inflation coming in, and it's just not going to be good for the economy. But I can tell you what it is going to be good for: precious metals. And that's why you have people like Bank of America saying in 18 months, hey, don't be surprised if you start seeing $3,000 gold. And hey, in 12 months, don't be surprised if you start seeing $20 silver. So, you know, things are going to be playing out pretty interestingly, but I tend to agree with Jim Rickards that we are going to be living in a period of deflation for about the next 12 months. So, in the words of Samuel Jackson from Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think we're going to be living in a period of 12 months or so of deflation before we start to see a turn? Um, Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please give the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks again for watching. It's Black Bullion.